JV Takes.
I think we're actually live.
We are definitely live. We are live just in time for a huge week of matchups, Kyle.
Right on time, too. What did we say, 6:45, and here we are?
Here we are, 6:45. It's a weird looking 4, and that's a weird looking 5, but here we are at 6:45.
It is good.
Live. We did it. I
It's
wonder.
all right. Nobody actually watches, so we're fine.
That's true. And hopefully now that we're somewhat on time, Flusher Fixer will lay off of Speaks. He was just ruthless last week.
He's kind of brutal.
He was brutal, and if he keeps it up, he's going to get banned like my Aunt Julie did last week.
Oh, I got to figure out how to do that again, get in that chat, because we got some questions we're going to ask, right? Or we're going to have them ask us some questions?
Yeah, we are. I got to fix my audio levels here. I think I was a little soft, and now I'm a little hot. All right, here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, we do have some. We're hoping to take some questions at some point. As always, you guys are welcome to pick on us in the chat. I think we have, just like last week, 3,000 right off the bat. 3,000 listeners. That's pretty impressive.
Hit the ground running.
We did. Yep, hit the ground running for a big night, Kyle. I have some people. You like to come in and you call people out every week. It seems like last week, I think it was
not true.
You called out Maddox O'Reilly and then Kelby O'Reilly.
That was coaching, not calling out.
Oh, that was coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to coach some people here because there's a big event going on tonight, not necessarily related to wrestling, but kind of related to wrestling.
Okay, before you dive into that, somebody is just destroying us already. Receding Hairline is their name.
Oh my goodness.
He says, I'm excited for this. Section 7 is better. Holding Ford would wipe everyone. You're late. 6 minutes late. I like that. They're keeping us accountable.
Unbelievable. Who is this?
I have no idea.
This is, I must say though, brilliant bit. Good name, right?
Yeah.
I mean, receding hairline. I'm guessing ugly mustache will probably join us somewhat soon.
We might be having technical difficulties.
With what?
Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think we are.
It's not showing up over here. This is some true behind the curtains, behind the scenes stuff right here.
So just to pull the curtain back here, Kyle's working on this stream here on the back end because we're trying to do something new this episode. We're going to call in or have a listener. I shouldn't say a listener, a well-respected member of the wrestling community call into the show in about 20 minutes and give us their JV takes. So Kyle's doing a little bit of work. If it seems like he's emotionally distant, or at least more emotionally distant than he normally is, he is actually. So
no,
that's kind of what's going on. The big matchup I wanted to talk about, Kyle, is not a wrestling match. When you were in like middle school, or maybe you were getting your feet wet on varsity, and coach said, get into a group of 4 or get into a group of 3. Did you ever have it where like the studs on the team grabbed you and they're like, oh, yeah, Kyle, hop in with us. Like
just so they can get a breather?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
been there.
So I got asked to be in a fantasy football league 2 years ago. And I think that's what happened. All these guys, these fantasy football studs, these guys who are very, very well respected, not just in the fantasy football world, but also in the wrestling world, asked me to be a part of their league. And I said, all right, I'll do it. The first year, I donated a little bit of money. I gave them whatever the league entry fee was. And then this year, I brought the fire. And tonight, I'm going for a fantasy football championship. Connor Heitman, good night. It's over for you. So listen to this. Listen to this gauntlet I walked through of great wrestlers. It comes down to only 4 teams making the playoffs. The 5th team out, the guy that we barely knocked out, Caden Steffen. 2-time state champion, 3-time state finalist. He's gone. He's out. Next, the guy who falls out after that, older brother, Chase Steffen. Awesome wrestler, great coach up at Centennial. And then I start getting chirped by Joey Majerus, 5-time state place winner, took his team to the state finals, and Connor Heitman, who also was on the ZM team that won 2 state championships. So all these guys are chirping me. They think that just because I'm a JV level fantasy football player, I can't turn it up a little bit when I need to. I slayed Joey last week, and now tonight I take down Connor Heitman and I take all their money.
This doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of Mazeppa names in there.
A lot of Mazeppa names.
Can't get it done on the big stage.
Whoa.
Well, you're saying it. I'm
Whoa, catching a stray right away.
So, yeah, no, that's fair. Joey. I saw Joey this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah. I
JV
thought
tournament?
he was taller. He's not.
No, he's
Wow.
not.
Yeah, he's a little fella.
And you'd think he's better at fantasy football too.
Yeah, no.
No, he's not.
No. So, well, good luck, Logan.
Thank
It'd be really
you.
bad though if you choke now.
I am gonna. It would be horrible. I would absolutely get lit up for it. I think the ESPN projector says I have like a 67% chance of winning, but like, what does that really mean? You know, it's like
Nothing.
no, absolutely nothing. I think, a guy like me who really likes front runners, I would probably call it over with a 67% chance, but you can't do that. Not on championship night. So if I seem distracted, that's why. If Kyle seems distracted, it's because he's getting ready for our guest coming in
trying.
at 7:15.
Trying.
So Kyle, I would like to propose we start right here. We got to start with trivia because we've been saving it till the end. We've been wasting our time. I think we should get to it right away because you and I were down at the Bi-State this last weekend. The trivia was related to Bi-State. And the
Whoa. See, we're going to have to turn the TV off.
you just need to mute it, brother.
We just watch this commercial. Go grab the remote.
This is such a JB level production. We put up a fake painting on the TV to add a little bit of decor here, and now
Now we're just going to get commercials.
we're gonna find out a little bit about you because these commercials are personalized. Kelly
like I need to buy a
Kia trying to get you to buy a Kia. Yeah, this is what we're working with here. Receding hairline in the chat. Go ahead and rip us. Receding chairline. You can rip us for that one.
And people probably now just got a peek of my Comet sweatshirt. You said I wouldn't wear it.
Was that what you were wearing when you were under the scoreboard last weekend?
Pulling the plug.
Pulling the power on the.
That was a good time.
So
All right. Let's dive into some real stuff here.
Yeah. The question that I posed last week that I ended the show with is which Section 1 team has the most individual Bi-State titles? And Kyle, I believe you got it. The answer was
Oh, Caledonia.
it was
I was
Caledonia.
responding to receding hairline. He asked, "Why does the guy on the left have a hat on?" I said, "His hair is rough, or lack thereof. He doesn't have hair." There, that's
So Kyle, you're not going to believe this. Luke O'Reilly, once again,
got her dialed.
slaying the trivia. Yep, nailed it. Luke O'Reilly nailed it. I'll pose this to you, Kyle. If you can tell me 3 of the Caledonia Bi-State champions, you need to be able to tell me 3 of them. I will buy you Culver's ice cream as long as it's not caramel cashew.
All time?
All time. 3 all time, and you cannot get any wrong. This has to be flawless. You need to nail 3 right off the bat.
Denstead,
What's
1.
his first name?
Owen.
Okay.
You asked what's his first name because you were thinking I might say his older brother.
Isaac. I think it's Isaac was his
Yeah.
older brother.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say his older brother.
How about Kyle Kavanaugh?
Kyle Kavanaugh, correct. Those are the 2 most recent.
And then
I'm in trouble.
we're going to go. I could just throw out like a last name and probably be correct because there's just like a million of these last names. That's a good question. I'm going to go with a Frank.
Incorrect. The last name you should have gone with.
Miners.
They're from Chatfield.
No, like Casey Miners.
Oh, Casey Miners is actually a good guess. I don't think he was a Bi-State
Klug?
champion. Nope.
Oh, well.
The last name you should have gone with would have been Gorgon.
Oh, and we just talked about that.
That's right. Alex and Austin Gorgon were both Bi-State champions. Other names that would have been acceptable: last name Stemper, Windjam, Simon, Bullman, Connor, Schmitz,
Huh.
Goulamay. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Todd Goulamay, 1984, won a 112-pound Bi-State championship. And you now owe me Culver's ice cream.
Is that how that works?
That's how that works. So thank you to Culver's for sponsoring us. I don't know if the logo is down on this side. I think it's on this side. Thank you, Culver's. This is the Culver's Cam, and they also bring us trivia. And you guys are more than welcome to send us questions throughout the show now. Kyle's going to try and monitor those.
I got this. I've already answered one. I'm dialed in.
Did
So,
you see the chat from Bayer Farm?
Yeah, fam.
Bayer Fam, classic. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to see my head during the national anthem, it's actually kind of hard because the arena lights are really bright and it reflects off it like it's like a lighthouse on the edge of a shore.
All right, I'm gonna try something here. Well, you keep going.
I want to talk about Bi-State if you want to join me with that conversation.
Yeah. Yep. Let's do that.
So you remember last year when we got back from the Bi-State and
We tried to do an episode right away.
we looked at each other and we just go, we are JV. We got the name right. We are so JV. We're still JV. Those guys have it together far more than we ever will. And we're referring to Steve Lurquin, Teague Fenwick, the guys in the Wisconsin Wrestler podcast, and then also the people who put on that tournament, which would be like Jason Luoff, who wrestled down at UW La Crosse and now is the AD at Holman, and his whole group at Holman that put the tournament on. I have never been to or been part of like a tournament that big that just like is always so smooth and you have 100% confidence in it. You know what I mean?
It's been. We went 1 year and they had an issue, but that was because of track, not anything they could have done. It was, it's flawless.
And they are like, if there are issues with track, it's never their fault. Like they always, when it gets to the end of rounds, like they're switching bouts flawlessly, like they're moving stuff from mat to mat. They communicate it effectively. It's a home run tournament. So this year, coming back, I still feel like we're JV level.
I just realized what I was editing is showing up live, so we'll figure that out later. So we're delayed here.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So now it's just switching on my screen.
Yep.
All right. So we'll be able to go through the Clash brackets in a little bit.
We will.
I still feel like we're JV level. The nice thing,
Clearly.
the nice thing now though is like, just from being around those guys, we're getting better through osmosis, right? So like we're still not good, but now maybe like we're that JV kid that would get named as a varsity alternate or something. You know, you bring the kid to the section tournament so we can ride the pine.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. But it was a very fun tournament as always. It gets to be a little bit of a grind when you're doing the broadcast. Like the first session is 7 hours long, so it was nice to kind of rotate through. I tell you one group that did not succumb to the grind. It was Chatfield. It was Chatfield once again. They won their second consecutive Bi-State, which would have been the first time since 2012 that a team went back to back. Kyle, do you know the last time that a team went back to back to back at the Bi-State?
3.
Yes, 3 in a row.
Was it like that Stratford team? Like maybe 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
Well, I told you the last time a team went back to back was 2012. So you've screwed this up royally.
Sorry.
No team has ever gone back to back to back.
Ah.
No team has ever gone back to back at the Bi-State.
All right, I need to focus here.
Yeah, I'll let you focus. I got to put a note down here under the Clash.
We got Teague on here. Good thing he turned in late because Teague, oh man, did we have some production issues. So
there he is. Teague says his brain still feels like scrambled eggs.
Teague, if you want to call in and give a Bi-State recap from the Wisconsin perspective, feel free.
Yeah, I think he's kind of joking, but he's kind of serious. I think I have my phone hooked up. I think we can actually take calls. Mom, if you call me, I'm not answering. Just so you're aware. Teague, if you call, I will answer.
So my takeaway, we were sitting having breakfast. I think it was Saturday morning or it was either lunch. And we were looking at the program. Did you happen to look at the program from last year's champions? Like who won?
No, I didn't. I just remember from Minnesota side, some of the kids that were in the finals.
It was insane. There was like, I think 3 or 4 University of Minnesota commits. There was a Missouri, Wisconsin.
Oh, here we go. We got a
there
caller.
we go.
Live caller.
Perfect.
Here we
This
go.
is good. We'll get Teague's input on this. So,
good evening, Teague Fenwick. How are you? Oh, hold on.
It helps if you answer the phone. You're not plugged in. You unplugged it.
Oh my gosh. Hold on, Teague. I unplugged it.
Oh, this is rough. This is rough.
Even the production issue. mean, maybe a phone call was
There-
not the
Yes.
expertise.
Hey, you're on.
We got him. You were live on the air, Teague. How are you?
I'm doing great, fellas. I am a little tired. I can't believe I was already working on my recap. I was just looking at track brackets with like 1,000-yard stare. So
Just blank. Nothing's going through the dome.
yeah, I'm always down to talk some bi-state for sure. So
Can I fight?
I don't know. What's up?
Can I fire a question at you or an observation? I was just getting into this a little bit with Logan, and we were looking at breakfast. All of the guys last year that won, multiple timers, bi-state champs, who now all went to, I think, a couple, Minnesota, maybe 3 or 4, Wisconsin, Missouri. There was some D2 in there. Was this a turnover year for like bringing in new up and coming talent to the bi-state? It just felt like a lot of those big names we've seen for years and years graduated, and now there was how many freshmen in the finals, and it just seemed like it was almost like a turnover year to like a new beginning of a new era.
Well, here's the thing. Even the freshmen in the finals, specifically at 120, they had Nathan Henderson had to beat Javier Berg to get there. So it's a mix of that influx of freshman talent. But yeah, I mean, we had potential for two bi-state finals rematches, one which came to fruition, but I didn't have the numbers. But it was not a lot of returning bi-state champions this year.
Yeah, I really noticed that, and just different names from not following Wisconsin wrestling very much. A lot of the names were relatively new to me.
Yeah, and we crunched the numbers, Teague. Was it 7 of 14 one seeds made the finals? It was only 7 of 14, correct?
Yeah, yep.
So just a ton of turnover, a lot of youngsters. You mentioned that matchup at 120. Another fun conversation we had, Teague. We talked a little bit about this on air, but Minnesota versus Wisconsin wrestling right now. I think it was either you or Steve. One of you said that it kind of feels like Minnesota always has been and is a step ahead. And it was weird because you guys complimented Minnesota, and then I kind of pumped the brakes a little bit, and I said, I don't know, because Wisconsin has like a ton of nationally ranked talent right now. Like, how do you feel about the overall depth of the talent in Wisconsin, and then, having fun with it relative to Minnesota?
So I've been thinking about it quite a bit because I know I'm going to be talking about it on Jake and Nate's show on Wednesday as well, and that's with the Wisconsin crowd. So I really got to tread lightly, right? But I don't know if the folks from the east of the Mississippi are going to tune in and hear this one. And you brought up some good points as well, Logan. I think maybe right now you could argue that the upper echelon, like if there was an all-star duel between Wisconsin and Minnesota, would I take Wisconsin? Probably. And I'd probably, especially last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, with the Millard, Hopkey, Mirasola's class, and that was a unicorn class, mind you. I was thinking about it this way: All-Star Duel, Wisconsin wins, but if you take did a duel of the 100th best Wisconsin and Minnesota wrestlers at each weight, I still think Minnesota has the advantage.
I kind of would agree with you. That's my perception right now, as I was just like flipping through the national rankings, is that's kind of what I thought today as well. And I think traditionally Minnesota may have been a step higher, but because of like the Apple Valleys and the Simleys of the world, and now that Apple Valley, has came back to earth, they're still a state tournament team, but they're not winning 20 consecutive state titles. And Simley, I mean, they've won 5 straight state titles, and they've been nationally ranked throughout that time. But this year, they're not the Simley of years past. So I feel like those teams maybe middling a little bit more in years past has played into Minnesota and Wisconsin being a fun little conversation there. I think what we should do with the bi-state, we split it right down the middle. We got 32 teams from Minnesota, 32 from Wisconsin, and we get a traveling trophy, just like the Axe.
Well, Logan, that would require, because I think it's about 12 to 14 Minnesota teams, that would require about 18 to 20 Wisconsin teams being cut.
I'm fine
And
with that.
I like the idea, and if we go through with it, I think Jason should delegate you to be the one to make the phone call for that.
The first team that I'm putting in is Chatfield's JV. I think they could hold their own.
Also, the Gophers are hot right now, fellas. The Chatfield stock has never been higher.
Yeah, just ask Logan. He'll tell you about it.
Also, some Wisconsin, Minnesota news. Wisconsin Rapids, last year's D1 state runner-up, did beat Simley in a duel at the Eau Claire Holiday Duels this weekend.
All right, that's it. We're hanging up on you. No more Wisconsin propaganda.
I want to say, well, okay, so we were just talking boys wrestling. I do think in girls wrestling, Wisconsin is a few steps ahead of Minnesota at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
And I don't know if it was the number of teams there or whatnot, but Wisconsin really did dominate on that front. And I think it's because, and I don't know how it went in Minnesota, but Wisconsin did a lot of growing at the youth level. And now we're starting to see that. Like, these freshman classes just keep getting better. And it's absolutely impressive. But I think Minnesota will catch up in that avenue as well.
Okay, last thing I got for you on the bi-state, Teague. This is another fun conversation. I think Kyle's going to have an opinion on this, but what do you think about letting 7th graders compete on the varsity level versus 9th graders? Because that's another big difference between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Like, we see these 120-pounders like Nathan Henderson from Holman, and I believe it's Sheard from Aquinas. Like, these freshmen just bursting onto the stage, ready to compete for state titles and win state medals. While in Minnesota, they started in 7th grade on varsity and they're eased into it a little bit more. What do you prefer between starting in 7th grade versus 9th grade?
I would love to see 7th grade, because you'd be lying if you told me that you don't think 2 years ago a 106 7th grade like Martez Sheard or Nathan Henderson couldn't compete with the upper level talent.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
And I think I have a couple of things. So I think, first of all, the top tier guys would really be able to benefit from that. Just with wrestling high school talent and their room for an extra couple of years. Because sometimes, especially at middle school, unless you're at a club, you might not have someone that'll be able to push you the way you like. But I really do think, I mean, there's some schools that, especially the rural schools, that they don't have a large amount of coaches. And with those middle schoolers that are just starting, like, you would have your middle school coaching staff with you as well. I think you'd be able to delegate numbers out. And I think if you're a good coach, you could still manage to, coach every level of talent. I think you'd have more coaching numbers at your disposal. So it's consolidating in most cases is not a bad thing to do.
Agree. And Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm a fan, obviously, of the 7-12. As long as, coaches are smart. They're not going to throw kids out there that aren't ready. You don't enter just random 7th graders into the bi-state if you have an open weight. I mean, it's common sense, and you're starting to see it more and more. And I think in just youth sports in general or high school sports in general, some of these kids are talented at 7th, 8th grade. I mean, unbelievable. And I'm not just talking wrestling. I mean, you see it in basketball. You see it in, not really in football, but track and field. Some of these other ones is like, there's some talent out there. So, yeah.
I agree. When they're ready, let them get after it. Yeah, that's kind of my philosophy. Teague, thank you for the mystery call. We've got another guest to get to in a bit. Can you do me a favor? Can you plug your guys' work if people are interested in following Wisconsin wrestling?
Can I do 2 more things, actually? I do want to, because I'm sure, and I don't know if you guys addressed it, but I'm sure we have a couple new Minnesota Rockfin subscribers. And I know the tech stuff the first 3 sessions was very, very frustrating. It was frustrating on all ends, and especially for the people that just got a Rockfin subscription for bi-state. Like, we apologize. It was stuff that was out of our control, and the tech guys, like, they were more stressed than any of us combined. And thanks everyone for bearing with us on that. We appreciate your patience, unless you're the guy that called me a mouth breather during the finals broadcast.
We get bashed all the time.
Guess what? You got a month now. Like, you can go to WI Wrestle, you can go to Minnesota Wrestle, and you got premium rankings and streams, and you can enjoy the rest of that. So apologies for bi-state, but we still got good finals quality. And I guess for the Wisconsin Wrestler podcast, we are going to be doing our holiday tournament recap tomorrow at 5. So we'll be going live on WI Wrestle's Facebook and Rockfin. And then Thursday, fellas, I know you got a little Minnesota stock in this one. We will be we'll be doing the Cheesehead preview with the godfather of the Cheesehead, Scott Cleaver. And if you're just a fan of wrestling, I mean, you tune in for that. You also tune in for the Cheesehead as well, because that is a banger of a tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Cass and Manorville's always over there, and they're one of our, the best teams here in Section 1. Kyle's wearing the shirt right now. What if we wanted to call you a mouth breather on social media, Teague? Where would we go?
Oh, okay. So Instagram, we're WI Wrestler Podcast,
Okay.
and I always forget it for X. We are a WI Wrestler Pod, Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast on Facebook as well. And there is live chat for that. So if you want to take more jabs, you're about 12 years late on the mouth breather insult, though. My high school friends desensitized that with me already. So just throw it at me. Throw it at me. I'm down for it.
These people need to start evolving, okay? Like, we got somebody in the chat right now that has a name, Receding Hairline. Hasn't phased me one bit. They got to start evolving. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the famous bowler Pete Weber said, love me or hate me, you're still watching. So that's what matters.
I think he also famously said, "Who do you think you are? I am."
Exactly. And that's what I say to the haters.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Teague, thank you for the call. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
You too. See ya. Well, that worked out really well.
That was good.
Once I plugged in my phone.
Yeah. It's like I look over it and you're just dangling. I'm like, come on, Logan. No, technology is a challenge. Even when you think you've got it figured out, it doesn't work.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah, but now we got Alex. You want to get Alex on the line and I can go through some results, or how do you want to do that?
Are you okay if I just want to finish on the buy state before we get Alex in. We'll give a couple quick shout outs. We'll talk about wrestlers that did well, but yeah, we're going to be moving a little bit here. So I got a text from Dustin Lumen. He's our Lodemeier's representative, Kyle. He had a new idea for a bit, okay? Because we love Lodemeier's, right? I probably love Lodemeier's more than you do because I love that they build grain bins and grain silos. And Lodemeier's, here's the thing about Lodemeier's. You can call them anytime. They're always ready to go. They're reliable. They're hardworking. Kyle, I would like to pitch to you the Lodemeier's hard-earned performance of the week, okay? What do you think?
Like somebody that wins like 9 on the backside of a bracket.
Bingo. Here we go. All right. Cannon Falls Randolph, this is your time. Stand up, Bombers fans. Adam Parrish loses in not the first round, not the second round, but the third round of the bye state, which it turns up pretty quickly. Second round is challenging. Third round's very tough. Loses in round 3, comes all the way back to get third place. He won 6 consecutive matches against 6 state-ranked wrestlers whose records added up to this, Kyle. I added up their records at the end of the tournament. These are his 6 wins. Wrestlers that had 106 wins and 21 losses, and it gets even more impressive when you consider 6 of those 21 losses, by definition, were to Adam Parrish, right? So he just went on an absolute heater. One of those wins including a first period pin over a 2023 state finalist. Actually, that might have been a second period pin because it's the 1 minute first period.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So just an absolute heater for Adam Parrish. That is what Lodemeier's would call a hard-earned performance.
Nice.
And I was pretty impressed with all of those high-level guys for Cannon Falls. We knew that, though. We said that in our preview. Zingler, the Parrish brothers, Jonathan Opelt, these guys are high level. Overall, Minnesota lightweights, I thought they were fantastic. Minnesota was most successful down low. They had 8 place winners combined between 106 and 113. Obvious highlight there, Jamison Preby, who just looked phenomenal the entire tournament. Did not miss a beat. Had to beat some really good competition. I'd like to name him for Athlete of the Week, Kyle.
I knew you would. So
nominate him.
I didn't even think about it this week because when I saw, he won it, and he was on fire.
He was on fire.
He's only an 8th grader.
He is only an 8th grader. One of my favorite.
He's that kid in 10 years. He's still on varsity. you know, because it's going to feel like he's been on varsity forever.
Yeah.
He's dialed in. Had an absolutely, I thought it was a relatively dominant finals win. I
Yeah.
mean, it was close for about first minute, 2 minutes, and then he just boom pulled away.
Well, he did it in all ways, shapes, and forms too. What was his semi? He went to the ultimate tiebreaker and won 7-6 with an escape in the last second or two.
Yep.
So it's like he won it in all different ways. And this one thing that I've come to appreciate about being Matt's side and being close to the mat is like you get a feel for Matt presence, and he is just calm. He's focused. You know, I said this to you. Rex Ashford reminds me of this. You're not used to seeing like 8th graders and 9th graders have that level of composure, but when they're able to wrestle year round, it gets to them a little bit quicker. My athlete of the week on the Sunday morning ride, Brandy Christensen. Holy smokes, did she have a tournament? She was the number 8 seed. She beat the number 1 seed on a last-second takedown at the buzzer to get into the semifinals. She pins the 4 seed, and she pins the 2 seed in the finals and wins her first ever bi-state title. She looks like a completely different wrestler this year, and she was wrestling well to start last year. So, bold take on this, Kyle. When I stopped in at Gorilla earlier this year, Gorilla Wrestling Club, she was in there training. I'm starting to think that, like, if you work hard and if you do stuff in the off season, you're going to be good at wrestling.
You couldn't figure that out after your experiment of not doing anything?
Well, 2 plus 2 adds up to 4. So,
Oh, no, that's good.
yeah. Do you have any stray thoughts on
I do.
the bi-state?
So I got to watch Zach Plank from LARP.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if he's a Lewiston guy, a Rushford guy, not sure, but he is an exciting wrestle. Like you watch him go out there, he is just letting her fly, big, strong. I think 190, ended up getting 8th place. He's one of those guys I like to watch. You know how I get my guys.
You've got your guys.
I got my
and
guys.
you've got your team. I saw a result while I was scrolling the guillotine yesterday. I saw a result from Minneapolis Camden.
Yeah.
And I laughed out loud.
They're working on things, but I did. That was at the Rogers, right? I think they're up in Rogers.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So no, Zach Plank, that was an exciting. He just, I don't know, he steps on the mat and got a lot of pins, goes for broke, and it's fun to see. So, yeah, he was one that stood out. Let's see, I thought we were gonna go through each one of these. No, you called an audible on this.
Yeah, I don't think we should go through every single one because
All right.
I added it up and there's like 40 place winners from Minnesota. Do you want to name 40 wrestlers? Actually,
I mean,
maybe-
I want to, but you apparently don't want to recognize anyone outside of Chatfield, so I guess we won't.
I'll let you do it. You go ahead because I have to pull up something anyways. So,
On the girls' side, Schaefer.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
great tournament.
She had a really good tournament. I believe lost a finals match, right? Ended up with 2nd place.
Yeah,
but,
ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, overall, really, really nice tournament. You already talked about the parishes. They had both brothers had a pretty good tournament. I think a 3rd and a 7th. Does that sound right?
3rd, and I think Owen got 7th.
7th. So very good. Carl Murray down there. You know, there was a lot of Section 1 crime early in the bi-state. Did you talk to Luoff about that?
I complained about it publicly a lot. I didn't actually talk to him, which would have been the right thing to do. And do you want to go the conspiracy angle, or do you just want to be honest, good people?
I'm
I'm
for
okay
whatever.
with either.
It's your day.
Let's be honest, good people. Brackets are random. They're drawn in. It's seated appropriately. Minnesota, we have nothing to complain about. Now, do you want to do the conspiracy thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's rigged against us. It's rigged against us. Chatfield would have won by more. We would have had more Minnesota titles.
That's right.
It's a conspiracy.
But no, Carl Murray, he had a nice tournament, ended up getting 5th. Yeah, this is the bracket that you had. Preby won it. Carl got 5th. Owen got 7th. 3 guys in the top 12. And shout out to Arlen von Knobelsdorf.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
he had
wrestled
an
awesome.
first match
Yep.
against Murray. Was leading, I don't know, maybe 5-ish minutes of it, and lost it there at the end. So gave Carl a little run for his money. But yeah, that 106 or yeah, is it 106, 107, whatever we call it over there in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That was a very, very strong Minnesota bracket. So
That's right. Yep.
Sam Moore 113, lost in the finals. I'm not going to go through them all because you're looking at me like you're really going to do
Yeah, we
this.
should keep moving.
But got to give a shout out to guys that battled all the way through.
I agree. And Sam Moore deserves
He
one.
had a really, really strong tournament. So, all right.
All right, let's get our guest on the line, and then we'll come back to maybe a couple results, but mainly we want to preview upcoming wrestling. And as this dials, I'm going to let people...
Oh, that's loud.
Come on. With a couple hints here. This is an Elite Wrestling Mind.
I put it in the chat already.
Hey, Logan. How's it going?
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Vanden Hooten, the Post Bulletin. Alex, how are you?
I'm living the dream. How are you fellas doing?
We're doing fantastic. I got Kyle here with me as well. He's got his Cass and Manorville Comet sweatshirt on and
my Comet Blue
his
Christmas
Comet
tree.
Blue, and we are here breaking down wrestling. We were just talking about the bi-state, and did you get a chance to check in on any wrestling this weekend?
No, I did. That was my goal, is to try and get there Saturday, and because I was in Green Bay last week visiting family and stuff, and I was hoping to maybe make it on the way through back. Just did not work out, but gosh, no. Just writing up the results and stuff Saturday night, I was wishing I was there for sure. It seemed like a lot of good action over there.
And Alex, they still love you in that town. I asked around. I was like, hey, you guys remember Alex Vanden Hooten? And there were a couple people that said, oh, yeah, I remember Alex. And they weren't very
they're
happy.
I'm out of there. They're happy I'm out of there.
But most of them were exhilarated, so they still love you.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. That's always good to hear, right? That people still, like me a little bit. Fun. I mean, we talked about it, but I mean, I never covered any wrestling over in La Crosse. I never even went to the bi-state once when I was over there. So it's kind of funny how this all worked out, right?
Oh, it comes full circle. Life comes full circle. And now, Alex, we're doing this on YouTube here. We've got your picture in the corner, so it's like you're literally with us. They can hear your voice. You're not just like the voice of God throughout the air. You also have a picture here.
Look at that. Look at young me right there. Wow.
Striping young man, isn't he?
I was trying to find like one of your high school tennis pictures, but I couldn't find it.
Oh,
I ran out of time.
Thank God. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm glad you have that one instead then. I'm glad we have this one instead. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, this is funny. Now, we've had two guests on the show. We didn't expect to have Teague Fenwick, our friend from the Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast, but we got him. He was a great get. We've had two Wisconsin natives on the show already today. How crazy is that?
That is crazy, and I haven't been asked yet about the Vikings and Packers game, so it's good. So I'm just waiting. I've been waiting for it here.
I was baiting you into bringing it up. So go ahead. Your thoughts?
I'll tell you what. To be fair, Logan, I did tell you what 2 months ago when I talked to you over in Plainview. I did say the Vikings were good. Did I not?
Yes.
Thank you. I need my flowers there. I also thought the Packers were better, and that is clearly not the case. The Packers, man, they're frustrating. It's a frustrating watch a little bit. But the Vikings got to give them all credit in the world. But gosh, that one hurt me yesterday a little bit. Hurt the soul for sure. And even I was like, okay, the sun will come up. The next day it'll be all good. Well, it's been like foggy and gray. I'm not even sure the sun came up today, to be honest with you. So that's where I'm at. So yeah,
it's over for Packer fans.
Well, it's I don't know if it's over, but I would say we're not in a great spot right now overall. Just listening to talk radio in Green Bay, oh my goodness, the sky's definitely falling a little bit. I would say that.
The sky is falling. And I think the Packers are a good team, but why can't they beat good teams if they're a good team? They're 0-2 versus the Vikings, 0-2 versus the Lions, and they lost to the Eagles. They've played close games in those 5 games, but they haven't beat a good team yet.
They just shoot themselves in the foot too many times. I mean, at this point, we keep waiting for them to change, and it's just not going to happen at this point. The formation penalties, I mean, gosh, they had 3 or 4 illegal formations yesterday, where it's just like that stuff cannot happen against great teams, right? You shoot yourself in the foot. They want the ball. They ask to receive the ball to start the game, right? They fumble, and they fumble the opening possession, right? So it's just like stuff like that. It's just too big of holes to kind of dig themselves out of a little bit. And because like I said, they have the talent for sure, but it's like just the little things. That's what makes them so frustrating to watch a little bit. Because they can do it all, but just the little things, the read, drop on 4th down there, right, and all this other stuff kind of factors into stuff. But yeah, it's you got, like I said, give the Vikings credit because no one expected this, right? I mean, this is fun. And by the way, who are you gonna be cheering for next Sunday night? I know you're a big Lions guy now, Logan. So what's going on with that?
They are my bridesmaid. The Lions are in my second place. So I will be a Vikings fan to the day I die. But if the Vikings lose out in the first round of the playoffs, then I will be on the Lions bandwagon.
I don't, Kyle. How can you even let this fly right now? That's like, what's going on there, my guy? What is that about?
Oh, that's good.
Hey, you know what, Alex? We got you here. We got to get your thoughts on wrestling, okay? Because you've been working very hard this year, and I just saw an article that came out about the 2024 Post Bulletin Top Sports Stories of the Year, and you were on there a bunch. What are your top wrestling stories of the year?
Yeah, so I mean, first things first, we gotta start with Braxton Wolford right over there in St. Charles. I mean, that was our top story of the year's top sports story, voted on by our newsroom. Gosh, I'll never forget talking with Coach Scott Coobs right over in St. Charles in January last year. I talked to him probably once a week at least for about 5 6 weeks straight. Just checking in, see how the team was doing, how Braxton was doing. I mean, it was real. We all were preparing for the worst, right? And then, thankfully he comes through out of it. But then I saw Braxton again in April, and man, it was like that was the beginning of the marathon, right? That he knew he was up for a long hill battle. And then I just saw him again last week, and I could not believe that was the same kid I had seen, just 7 8 months earlier. I mean, he came up to me, practically jogged over to me, right? Shook my hand with a grip as my hand still hurts from shaking his hand, for goodness sake.
Oh yeah.
So it's just great to see him back, after the heart transplant, everything. And too, obviously the legs, the compartment syndrome, that was another big thing that he had to overcome too, right? So there's so many different stuff, and thankfully he came through out of it. Those are the type of stories, obviously, I got into this business to write about, seeing him have those success stories and see the community rally around him. Now his sister, I know you talked about his sister a little bit. As Scott would say, she's a barn burner, right? She's a feisty one. So it's kind of cool. She's out for wrestling now because of Braxton. So it's just kind of cool to see that all go into play here. And yeah, a couple other stories too. I mean, Lauren Ellsmore winning becoming our first girl from Southeast Minnesota, to win outside Northfield there, to win a state title. That was super cool to cover and write about. Obviously, I think back to when I wrote that story on Lauren a few years ago now, gosh, when she was a, eighth grader.
Yep.
That kind of started this whole thing with girls wrestling a little bit, just writing that and talking to her. And now, she's a state champion. So I was, I felt like a proud, dad a little bit, gosh, watching her do that, and stuff, and watching Jason celebrate. So that was one of my favorite moments too. And then Chatfield winning it all too. That was a cool moment as well. Just kind of seeing what they did and go out there too. And, watching Kale as well finish his career with the team title a little bit. And not only that, but, I think back to Kale when he fell, was it the semifinals he lost in the state individual tournament? I mean, the kid still had tears in his eyes. He came back and, put a whooping on the kid for third place, right? I mean, I think that kind of gave a lot of good life lessons too. It just, it was just kind of cool to see him, throw that fight. So those are just some of the stories I kind of think about as well. I think those all made our top sports stories of the year, I think, if I remember correctly.
It was a big, big year for Southeastern Minnesota wrestling. I would say those are probably 4 of my top 5, and maybe the 5th. Can you give me some Calder Sheehan content?
Oh, yeah. Calder Sheehan. That guy is, man, that's another dude that feels like I've just watched him grow up too, right? Hey, God, that's what's weird about our jobs, right? A little bit. You see these kids start covering them and stuff, and pretty soon 4 or 5 years passes where you're just like, wow, holy smokes, like, where did the time go, right? You start seeing the pictures and photos and stuff, and Calder's one of those guys too. And the fact, I mean, the Energizer Bunny. You should see this man on the football field. You think he's energetic on the mat? You should see this man on the football field, the way he's pumping up his guys and stuff, and just having a good time. I mean, if I could just capture, that joy for life, a little bit and sell it, man, we'd be millionaires forever. So, I think that's what it kind of comes down to for Calder a little bit. And just watching him win the Christmas tournament title with his brother right there in the stands, right there in his corner too, I think was also something that was really kind of cool to kind of see overall. And hopefully he can, kind of keep the momentum going and everything like that. And, because Mayo hasn't had a state titleist, since Mosseth back in 2007. So it's been a while for them. Hopefully he can kind of break through. I think the Minnesota Christmas tournament showed he can, right? And so we'll kind of see. We'll keep an eye on him. And obviously he's going to Northern States, so that'll be kind of a good fit for him too. So he's just a good dude. He's easy to root for too. And there's a lot of those Mayo kids are easy to root for. A lot of wrestlers are easy to root for. I've found out.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh. And Calder, he's hungry. He really wants to get after it. So that's fun to watch. What about to this start of the season so far? What couple storylines have you had fun watching? Because I know personally I've enjoyed ZM's hot start. I think that's been awesome. likewise with Chatfield, but also like statewide. I think it's been super fun watching the shuffling of the Double A teams and finding out
Yeah.
who's going to be the lead dog in Double A statewide. What have you enjoyed to start the year?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. And I actually have an article coming out in the next couple of days, just kind of 7 observations that, I've kind of seen so far with the first, month plus of the wrestling season here. And yeah, ZM's definitely one of them, right? I mean, we were all kind of waiting to see, what they were going to, be like, considering, lose 2 guys like Jack Cryer and Caleb Lochner, right? Those 2 guys are seeing, time as true freshmen for their respective colleges there. So I think we were kind of waiting and seeing on them, but boy, I think they've really, what they just did against, Becker and Cass and Manville alone will kind of, tell you all you need to know, right? For them to both win those 2 duels and to kind of come out there and the showings they had of both, the bi-state and now the Minnesota Christmas tournament too. You guys mentioned Carl Murray's been just fantastic across the board. Sam Moore's been fantastic. Jim Byer, Noah Schaefer, Wilson Nordquist. I mean, you can go up and down that lineup, right? You're just like, whoa, they got some interesting pieces here, right? Formidable lineup a little bit. And like you mentioned, Class 2A is, man, wide open. It has been this wide open in what, probably 10, 15 years, right? Like,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Similarly, Cass, and we'll see where it all kind of shakes out. But that's definitely the interesting storyline to follow a little bit, as well as, I've also, look over there in Kenny Wanamingo too. Those guys just keep winning as well. So I think those are kind of the ones to go into. And I think, just the scoring system in general, it'll be kind of interesting to hear your guys' thoughts about that as well. I know Alan Josh from the Alan Josh show kind of talked about it a little bit on their show, but just number of tech falls, I think is really interesting to kind of keep an eye on. How will that affect, the section duels and stuff like that? It'll be fun to see kind of like coaches juggle their lineup around a little bit to kind of combat that a little bit, I think. And it's girls wrestling, I think, has evolved too. I'll be kind of curious to hear your guys' thoughts about that too. I mean, you can kind of tell we're kind of at that point now where it's like, okay, these girls are no longer athletes trying wrestling. Right now they're full-blown wrestlers.
That's
Right? I
right,
mean, a
yeah.
lot of them are out there. They got the technique down. You can see it really coming. So I think those are kind of some interesting things to watch here moving forward a little bit.
Great points on the new scoring and the evolution of girls wrestling. I think girls wrestling just continues to evolve. New scoring is something I find myself, I thought we were going to start the season and the conversation with the new scoring would just like disappear within 2 weeks.
Yep.
But it has not. Like Kyle and I were talking about that before we started the show. We'll probably end up talking about it more at some point here. But yeah, I think those are 2 sneaky storylines that are super important to watch. So
Like that 4-point near fall, I don't know about, I'm just curious to hear your guys' thoughts a little bit about that as well. The 4-point near fall, it's just kind of interesting I don't know. It just seems like a lot can go. I don't know. It seems like a lot can just kind of go either way. It seems like when it comes to that a little bit, it's just interesting. I love the 3-point takedown. Don't get me wrong. I'm all aboard for that, but I'm still not sold on I don't know, the 4-point near fall a little bit.
Logan, what are your thoughts? Do you like the new scoring or not?
no, I don't like it. I was the first one to say it, and Kyle copied me. And I'm also gonna throw Alan Josh under the bus. They probably didn't, but Alan Josh, you guys copied me. I'm gonna copy this take from you, Alex. Though I like the 3-point takedown, but not the 4-point near fall. I stole that take from you. I'm gonna make it my own. The reason I like the 3-point takedown is because it should be more valuable than the reversal, and it should
Why?
be 3 times more valuable than the escape.
Why?
Because we want
Reversals are more rare than a takedown.
we want
So
to,
shouldn't it be a 3-point reversal and a 2-point takedown?
no, I want to incentivize action on the feet.
Well, why don't you incentivize people from belly rubbing? Get away. Get a reversal.
They're trying. You're that
Belly rubbing is
you're
so
the-
boring.
You're the coach.
That's what that's
you're
what you're
the
annoyed
coach.
with.
You're the coach that sits in the corner and yells, "Just stand up." There's always that one person in the crowd. Just stand up. That one person is you.
No, no, I don't like it. I don't like it across the board. I was trying to be patient and give it time. I think I'm going to be dramatic. Weird, right?
I like this. I like where this is going.
I think we are doing a huge disservice to growing the sport. What I think this does accomplish, and I'm going to sound like a complete moron here to everybody listening, so feel free to rip me, but we are almost guaranteeing the best wrestler wins, and I hate that. I absolutely hate it because we want to watch sports for that unknown. And I don't know, people might disagree, but watching the bi-state finals, there was maybe 2 close matches that we felt were in question, you get a couple quick takedowns, a quick turn, and all of a sudden, boom, the match is over. And these are some of the best at their weight class, and you're not even getting that drama, that impact, And I just think it's really going to do a disservice to make the sport exciting. You're losing that anticipation. People, you can just watch the fans check out the minute it gets to 6-1 or 7-2 or something like that. It's just like instant checkout. And then on top of that, I think where it's really gonna start hurting is those average to, let's say, mid-range kids in being able to close the gap a little bit on the higher end kids. And we're just gonna start building this even greater disparity amongst I'll just use the club kids, the ones that are at the elite level that wrestle year round all the time versus your, two multiple sport athletes that come out because they're doing it for the team and things like that. So I'm on record. I absolutely despise it. I don't know if it'll change my mind. I don't like the 3-point takedown. I definitely don't like the near fall. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Can we record?
I'm gonna get in trouble on
Can
this
we
one,
record that and send that to the National Federation of High
I
Schools?
was gonna say, yeah, split that up. Yeah, yeah, save that. I was like,
So-
ooh, I'm like, I kind of okay. I was like, I'm gonna side Kyle a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, yeah.
I don't think it was needed. I don't think high
Yeah.
school wrestlers are defensive enough to stop scoring. Yes, you can say, okay, some of your elites, your high end wrestlers, your really good kids are, sure, but we're not in a sport for only the high end. This sport trickles down into the JV level and all that, and I think it's going to really, really set us back in trying to build up the low end, the middle end, and even the above average end of the sport. But it's my opinion.
Yeah, I think you
So.
might be onto something.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think you are a little bit too, Kyle. Yeah,
I
honestly,
gotta
yeah.
hate giving him credit, Alex.
I know.
Stop it.
I
Don't
didn't
do
want
it.
to
Don't
either.
do
I
it.
didn't want to either. But I
Just
will
feels
say,
dirty that you're agreeing with me, Logan.
all the coaches do. I don't know. I've talked to so many coaches about this, or before the season and now a little bit into the season. They're all for it still. The scoring like this. I don't know. A lot of them are. I should say, not all of them, but there's a great deal of them. The majority, it feels like, are for it. Promote scoring, all this and that. I don't know. They seem to be on board for it, but. Yeah, Kyle, you do bring up some excellent points. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And if we take it, I'm not going to go on this rant too much longer, but if you look at like what the NBA does with the 3-point basket, I mean, it's completely changed the game now to just, I mean, you look at viewership in the NBA, it's down like 42% or something crazy. And I'm sure there's other factors, but we do these things for these unintended consequences. And I get a little worried about that. So
There we go.
I'm done.
All right,
Probably not actually done.
One of our admins needs to ban Homie. He just encouraged Kyle as well. He says Kyle nailed it, spot on. And also, Kyle, you had a poll. Do you like the new scoring? 60% say no, 40% say yes. So
I mean, I voted no.
I also voted no. So
I just voted no as well.
you just noted. All right,
Wow, so it's a skewed poll, but that's fine.
there,
It's our data.
there it is. Hey, Alex, any exciting articles coming up that we should be looking forward to, and where can we get your work?
Yeah, so you mentioned like our year of the end stuff. We just did our top stories. We also have our sports person of the year. It comes out tomorrow morning.
Breaking
I
news
will
tonight.
I don't want to give it away. I will say it's from the wrestling community, though. I will say it's from the
Cool.
wrestling community. So it's kind of a cool thing. So yeah, I've been busy the last couple of weeks. It was number one story, and then our sports person of the year was wrestling. So it's been good. Yeah, like I said, yeah, you mentioned you can follow me on Twitter at Alex Vandenhout1. And if you guys follow JV Takes too, I mean, you guys always help me out with stuff. So appreciate that. And yeah, postbulletinnews.com. Anything, yeah, my email too is avandenhout@postbulletin.com. So if any suggestions, send my way, any tips, leads, or if you hate how I'm doing my job or just whatever, let me know. I'm always around, available. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a lull right here with high school sports, but it's been a good time. Are you guys headed down are you guys going to be at the Clash this weekend or?
I'll be there. Kyle's got work in Wisconsin that he's running to, so
That's right.
well,
Yeah.
we're dividing and conquering. I'm covering wrestling, and Kyle's pretending to work.
I should be able to watch some though from the hotel room. I think so
You
that'd be
should.
good.
Yeah, you should.
So.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
and
Okay. Cool. I might see it. I think I'll be going Saturday. That's the goal. I said that. I know I told you that a couple weeks ago with the bi-state too, Logan, and I wasn't there either. But that plan is for me to be at the Clash on Saturday. So that's the goal. So
perfect. I'll save you a seat. And then Alex, if you need a headshot for Kyle's Sports Person of the Year, just let me know. I can send you something.
okay, I got you. I'll trust you with that. Yeah, definitely, you guys. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks, Alex.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Take care. Love
Have
what
a
you
good
guys are
one.
doing. Yep. Bye.
Woo. That was good.
Good.
We are professionals at this.
We're something.
Varsity alternates.
We're
maybe.
something.
Yeah, we
So.
are something.
Oh, that was good. It's always good to have Alex on, so that's fun to hear.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good
Who,
insight.
so is it Sports Person of the Year or was it Sports Story of the Year?
Person. I have a hunch. I mean,
Well, we'll see.
from the
Tomorrow
wrestling
morning.
community.
Yeah.
We'll see tomorrow.
But there's a lot of good candidates.
Like who?
I don't know. I'm just saying there's probably a lot from, so, yeah.
I mean, I guess the 5 we just named there.
Mm-hmm. So, good luck picking that.
All right. So, what do you think? You looking at my agenda here? I had all these different things I wanted to get to, but we're already almost an hour in. I think maybe we just jump to the big thing, which would be
Just getting warmed up. No, I do want to,
Clash.
no. I do want to touch on that Eau Claire tournament, which was kind of brief, but
Yeah.
KW and PEM were both up there. KW got 4th, PEM got 5th. They needed to wrestle a true 4th. Come on now. They didn't end up meeting, so we didn't get to see that. I was hoping we would get to see that, but they didn't. Both lost to Cambridge Isani. So, yeah, basically just, what?
I'd like to make a point,
Okay.
raising my hand. My power rankings are undefeated.
You're powering.
I had Kenyon Wanamingo one step ahead of PEM, and at this tournament, you saw it, KW 4th, PEM 5th.
But wasn't the
My power rankings are undefeated.
No. I could make the argument. Didn't PEM lose to Cambridge Isani in a closer margin than KW did?
Incorrect. No.
Well,
PEM lost by 50. PEM lost 45-30, and KW lost by like 12 or something.
You're just making that up. But anyways, continue.
So,
All right, let's jump to the Clash. I just wanted to touch on that.
okay, while we're jumping, I'm going to just touch on this quick as
Oh,
well.
yeah,
The Rogers Royal Rumble, a couple studs that deserve shout-outs. Sam Winkle's probably going to get a lot of shout-outs this year. He beat Brock Zern in the finals of the Rogers Royal Rumble, which was the winner of the Christmas tournament. So, by association there, I think Sam Winkles is the winner of the Christmas tournament as well, kind of, right?
Yeah, I don't see how you can't make that logic.
Hayden Hawkins on the girls' side, she won another tournament. She won one early in the year. She's been red hot. I would say she's throwing her name in the hat for Section 1 girls wrestling Goat of the Year. We're going to have to watch her. And then that's what I had for Rogers.
I have a funny off-air GOAT story, too, speaking of GOAT of the Year. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Could you work on the Clash brackets? I realized we had the Rebel Girls Classic 2, Champlain Park. So I'm going to look in the final results there and see if we had any local legends take first on there. What did you say?
No, just keep going. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Maggie Olson got 3rd. That is a crazy bracket. Charlie Raymond gets 1st. Isabel Schockman gets 2nd. Maggie Olson gets 3rd. That's a loaded bracket right there.
These are some big brackets. How many did they place out there? 9th?
They placed out to 8th.
In that one?
Placed out to 8th, yep. And I don't think we have any local folks that got 1st in the main brackets, but there was also like ancillary brackets. And I know KM went up there and had a few wrestlers get 1st. Amelia Miller of Hastings got 1st, an associated Section 1 team. Lily Watts of Hastings got 2nd in the 170 bracket. Oh my gosh. I'm glad we looked through this.
Oh, that's big news.
Oh my God. What if we had missed this?
Breaking news. Well, not really breaking because it's right there, but
She's
that's
back.
exciting.
She's back. Ella Pagel, 1st place at 190.
Just dominated, I bet, too.
Oh
Yep.
my
pin in a minute.
goodness. Pin in the finals in a minute 27. That's huge. Somebody get on. Alex, if you're still listening, get on that story now. Write the article and print it.
Scroll up a little. Because that's a round robin. How else did she do? 4 pins?
This girl from Eastridge, I'm pretty sure, is a state entrant, and she tech falled her in 3 minutes. Ella Pagel's a senior. Wow, she is back. breaking news. And she got another pin right there.
And she's 6-0, so we missed some matches earlier. Where were we on that one, Logan?
I was probably at a wrestling tournament. Where were
Wow.
you on that one?
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Wow.
Good to see her back in the room and
See, this is why
racking them up.
This is why you scroll the results.
Absolutely.
This is why you go through and look. All right, that's enough recapping the results.
Alapago, welcome back to the scene here. This will be good.
Let's look at the Clash brackets. After I mentioned that also this week is the Rumble on the Red. So Albert Lee, Byron, Pine Island will have individuals up there. Not sure if they're boys or girls. Those are just the teams listed in track. Rumble on the Reds this week. And then also the Cannon Falls Invitational will feature a slew of Southeastern Minnesota teams. Austin, Byron, Cannon Falls, Dover, Yoda, Ellsworth, Wisconsin team, La Crescent. And I assume these three are sharing a bus. Rochester Century, Rochester John Marshall, and Rochester Mayo. It makes sense that they're sharing a bus. Rosemount, St. Charles, St. Agnes, Triton, Wabasha, Kellogg, Winona.
One thing I'm excited to see, jumping back to the Rumble, is how Pine Island does up there as a team. Typically, the higher, if you're not familiar with the individual scoring, the farther you advance in that bracket, placing points are huge. Pine Island's got a nice balanced team, and I really like them for the duels. I'm curious to see if they can just place a bunch and just kind of pull a Chatfield, where you get a lot maybe in that top 6, top 10, but not necessarily a ton of champs. So just curious to see how they shake out. But Pine Island's putting together a nice year, so this will be a fun test for them.
I could see them throwing a bunch of names like top 9 or top 11 or something like that. Don't know how far they placed. So let's get to the Clash, Kyle. Bad news, though. After I talked all that smack, my receiver has 1 catch, and my kicker has a missed extra point.
That is awesome. And you're losing?
I'm winning by 5, less than 5. So this is going to be trouble.
Good. I hope you choke. That would be great.
This is going to be brutal. All right. So Clash, I did an episode with Bill Olson on Sunday on the Sunday Morning Ride. He and I chatted about the history of the Clash.
Do you want me to attempt to pull up the brackets here? This is going to be real janky if people are watching, but I can maybe get them up.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a shot at it.
Okay, we got
I'll
one.
pull up the live stream, make sure it shows up fine.
I got it here too. So you just keep talking. I'll get them up there.
Can't you go one at a time? Pull them up one at a time.
There we go. It's up.
Use the whole screen.
I'm trying. It's just formatting, and I don't know how to do this on the fly.
All right.
There. It's up.
So yeah, check out that episode with Bill Olson. He was really good, and I'm gonna be down there on hopefully at some point Friday, Saturday as well. I don't know if I'll do a live show from down there. Excuse me. I think it'd be kind of fun to do like a Friday night reaction show or something here on the YouTube page, but we'll see if that ends up happening. Got to have reliable Wi-Fi and sufficient energy. Some of us run out of energy, unlike Teague.
That is true. That is true.
So the brackets came out just a few days ago. I'm going to pull these up on my screen as well while you're putting them on YouTube. And in Clash number 1, I think we just focus on local teams kind of, right?
Yeah.
And the big names. So Caledonia got a tough draw. They're going to take on a number 1 seed right away, Chicago Marist. Hastings is also in that bracket in the 4-5 seed matchup. Shakopee is in as the 3 seed in that bracket, and then the rest would be teams abroad. So big notes there would be tough opening round matchup for Caledonia. Hastings potentially runs into a number 1 seed in the second round, or Hastings and Caledonia potentially run into each other in the second round. Are you ready for the next one?
I think so.
Are you covering up our Culver's logo? Because this is the Culver's cam, if people didn't know.
I did cover it up. Not quite sophisticated enough on how to get that in there quite yet, but we'll work on that.
That's all right. So St. Michael Albertville is the number 1 seed in bracket B. The big one here for you local nuts, Zimbrota Mazeppa is in the 4-5 seed matchup with, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Hononega. Hanoga? I don't know. Something like that. Illinois. And then St. Pius is the number 2 seed. Anoka wrestles them in the first round. A lot of out-of-state teams here in this one. So ZM with a matchup in the first round that should be winnable if they do get past this Illinois team, STMA in the second round, no doubt it's going to be tough. I think that's kind of a tough draw for ZM.
That is.
You're capping yourself. You know what I mean? You could wrestle your butt off, and the best you can do is get into bracket number 3. I think they probably would have rather been on the bottom side of this bracket, but I mean, St. Pius is super legit as well.
Yeah, whenever you have to run into St. Michael, it's not a good situation.
I mean, it's one thing to run into them in the finals of your bracket, but semis, it's like you don't even have a fighting chance. Very interesting bracket here. Staley, Missouri is the number 1 seed in bracket C. Stillwater and La Crosse Aquinas are going to meet up in the 4 or 5 seed. And you saw, Kyle, La Crosse Aquinas, they have some real hammers.
Some studs, yeah.
They have some real hammers. And then another Wisconsin team that you and I both got to see at Bi-State, and I was very intrigued by. Iowa Grant Highland will wrestle Staples Motley. That might be my first or my favorite matchup of the opening round. And then Northfield's tucked in here in the 7th seed spot. They'll wrestle the 2 seed Don Bosco, Iowa, right away.
Yeah, Iowa Grant, they got some bruisers, just massive guys. And for 10 years, they roll out these like 190 pounders that look like 250, and they're just cut. I don't know. It's insane. So it'll be exciting to see that matchup. I think our goal here, or our perfect scenario, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, but seeing a Staples Motley Northfield semifinal, that would be pretty fun.
I agree. That would be fun. I mean, Northfield's going to have their hands full. Staples Motley will also have their hands full. But those are two that could go either way.
This is classic you, though. You only look at seeds.
I'm going to unplug your microphone.
No, this is no upsets. It'll never happen. Pulling an Al and Josh here. They basically muted Josh on the last episode. So, but no, this is classic Logan. You're going to go chalk in every bracket, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, I'd like to see that. Staples Motley, Northfield.
That would be fun. Bracket D. Your number 1 seed is Bettendorf, Iowa, and they wrestle against Apple Valley in the opening round. And if this was 10 years ago, that would be the championship match right there. Apple Valley and Bettendorf, Iowa. Lake Crystal. God, this is an interesting bracket now that I'm looking at it in more depth. Lake Crystal wrestles Vacaville in the opening round. 4 seed versus 5 seed matchup. But Vacaville made it to the championship bracket last year. And then obviously Lake Crystal here in their first year. This is their year. They've loaded up their schedule. They're taking on a very tough schedule, and Vacaville not going to be a part of that. Chatfield is the number 2 seed. They'll take on Decorah, Iowa in the opening round, and they will get the winner or loser of Washington, Illinois, and Cumberland, Wisconsin. So
this is kind of a clever bracket because Apple Valley's no pushover. I know this is like the 3rd time you've discredited Apple Valley on just this episode, basically saying they're down. I mean, they're still like a top team in AAA. So it'll be fun to see where they're sitting at.
You big Apple Valley guy? Add them to your list of teams?
You just disrespect pretty much everybody other than Chatfield. So it's just, I have to defend literally the rest of the state.
What's the Apple Valley connection? Did you like run into one of their moms at Target and she was nice to you or something?
No.
She helped you find the soup you were looking for
I'm just
or something?
saying, you're like Chatfield and then the rest of the world doesn't exist. So I'm just going to speak for everybody and we're just sick of you. So
my fantasy football winning championship, I'm down by 2, or I'm barely up by 2 now.
That's awesome. I hope you lose.
Girls,
I think I'll speak again for everybody. We all hope you lose.
Yeah.
So
girls brackets. This kind of, I don't like this. Apple Valley, Central Cass, North Dakota, and Holman, Wisconsin are all in the same pool together. Why don't I like that? Because Apple Valley and Holman wrestled within the last few weeks. Apple Valley won it pretty handedly by 20-some, and now they're back in the same bracket. But sometimes, like, that's just what happens, depending on, if teams have to do a morning or evening session, or they request a morning evening session, or whatever it may be. Sometimes this is just how it shakes out. Second group is Andrew, Illinois, Badger, Wisconsin, and St. Michael, Albertville. Third grouping is Batavia, Illinois, Hastings, Minnesota, Malacca, Minnesota, and Raccoon River, Iowa. So that's kind of tough for Hastings. Raccoon River won the whole darn thing last year, so
that's an awesome name, Raccoon River.
Yeah. Do you know
I was trying to explain to.
do you know it's right next to Possum Plain?
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
So I was trying to explain to Hazel this morning that we live in Bell Creek, but we also live in Goodhue. Her mind was blown. So
Didn't go very well.
no. Speaking of, yeah. Anywho, sidebar.
So there are brackets. Kyle, you gonna make any picks?
Well,
Oh my gosh, I'm tied. 106.98 to 106.98.
what when you mean picks, like, are you saying who's the top four? I don't.
Who's gonna win? I'll make picks.
No, I don't. Nobody cares. No.
Chatfield first, ZM second, Caledonia third, Northfield fourth, and what's another local team that's in there? Rochester Mayo was there last year.
I'll present it to you this way. There's always a team or two that just goes on these runs at the Clash or like completely kind of shocks everybody. Do you have one of those this year? Like Chatfield last year went on a massive run. Wasn't it like Bemidji?
It was
also?
Bemidji, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
that was kind of unpredictable, though, because the team they wrestled opening round, Washington, Illinois, had a bunch of kids sick and injured, and there was no way of knowing that.
You just discredit everything.
So Lake Crystal would be a fun pick, but, man, they have a tough match with Vacaville, and then Bettendorf is on that side of the bracket as well. This is such a front-runner take. Maybe Stillwater or La Crosse Aquinas. I could see whoever comes out of that 4 or 5 seed matchup giving Staley, Missouri a run for their money, and then maybe taking the title in bracket number, I think that's bracket C.
I think
I'm gonna say La Crosse Aquinas, I guess.
La Crosse Coin. That's not a bad one. I think Staples Motley.
You shut up.
I do.
We're done.
No.
This has already gone long enough. We're almost at an hour 15. We're not doing this.
I'm going 2 teams. So you got Staples Motley here.
Don't pick Staples and Chatfield.
No, I'm not going Chatfield. But you got Iowa Grant. They'll be fine there. Iowa Grant's a solid team, but they have some really high end individuals. I don't know what they got for depth, but Staples is legit up and down the lineup. Then they got Northfield or Don Bosco. Has Iowa ever really done well at the Clash? I don't think so.
Yeah, they have.
It doesn't fit my narrative. So I'm going Staples 1 out of that bracket. And then another sneaky one, Hastings. Hastings, we didn't talk about them about the bi-state. They had a lot of guys that were in the top 10.
They are a team that's going to be better in this format than they will at the bi-state. They had all sorts of guys place top 12.
Yep. So I'm going to go Hastings as my people will be talking about them. And I think people will just continue to talk about Staples. I don't know if maybe from a statewide level outside of Section 7, Section 1 rivalry, more people will be talking about Staples.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
All right, there we go. There's your team. There's my team. So how about I get La Crosse Aquinas, you get Staples, and whichever team places higher, Culver's bet.
Staples? All right, I'll do that.
Actually, I want Stillwater. Can you give me Stillwater?
No. So we're not going to bet on high school. That's silly.
It's not
it'll
betting
just be
if it's ice cream.
It's just pride.
Pride.
Yep. So
Where did the chat go? Okay, so let's do trivia. We'll have our Heman Tree Service Free Quote of the Week. Thank you to Ag Partners as well for being a sponsor of the show. I don't think they have any upcoming events. Joe Morgan retired and the building is still standing. So I guess that's the big update as far as Ag Partners goes. Here is my trivia for the Clash, Kyle. Who is the only Kenyon Wanamingo wrestler to ever make the all-tournament team at the Clash?
Drew Lexvold.
No, but you weren't supposed to guess.
Oh. Was I right?
No,
Oh.
you were not.
I wonder if Drew wrestled in the Clash.
There's some really good names, though. Like, I'll just let you throw out names. Who could be in these names?
I mean, any Nathan, Chad, Drew Mitchell, any of those. Oakley McLean. Back in the day.
Or think a little bit newer age. Yep, I know you're
Little
thinking
guy.
of him. Kind of, but not really.
What? Yeah.
He was a middleweight when he graduated.
He won state.
Yep, twice.
Yeah. What the heck's his name?
Tyler.
No, not Tyler.
Ryan.
Tyler Ryan. That's a good guess, though. No.
Mattson.
Mattson. There you go.
Jaron Mattson would be a good
Yep,
guess.
He'd be good. I mean, they've had some big guys: Langer, Jacobson. I don't know.
If Van
Luke
Epps,
Hanka,
they
blast
didn't-
from the past.
yeah, they didn't wrestle in the Clash when Van Epps was Van Epps, but
Yeah, they got a mid full of guys.
they do.
Did I say it?
I'm not going to answer that. Will not answer that. Don't want to include or exclude. And then
But KW's not there this year.
they're not. Nope.
I think you would have.
Here's another
tried
fun.
to tie it a little bit better.
No.
But
So
whatever.
when this wrestler was on the Clash All Tournament team, he was also on the All Tournament team.
Brossard, he'd have been another one.
Maybe. Yep. He would have.
So
Maybe.
I got it right with that one, did I?
Now, maybe not. But so this wrestler, it's fun. I like going back to look at all the old Clash All Tournament teams because you look and there's, you remember Tony Ramos,
Oh yeah.
who was a national champion for Iowa? He was down at the Clash with, I don't know if it was Bettendorf or Don Bosco or Waverly Shellrock, some Iowa team. But you just go through and it's like, oh, that guy wrestled for the Gophers. That guy was a national champion at Iowa. And they're all on there before they were them. Brady Berge was on there.
Yep.
Sam Stoll was on there. I completely forgot that KM went to the Clash.
Many years ago. It was probably 2009, 10-ish range.
Around
11?
when that sweatshirt was made.
Probably. So
So there you go. That's our trivia. Send us an answer through the text line. Get your guesses in. Don't let Luke O'Reilly win for a third time. He's already won twice.
he won this time?
He won. Yeah. He was
Why?
the only one that got it.
No. There was somebody else that got it. I saw it. When's the last time you looked?
Just as we were doing the reveal.
Are you? No, you're wrong. Okay, go to your next topic. I'll pull it up.
Well, all we have left is the Heman Tree Service free quote of the week, which I know which one it should be.
Which one?
This clown in the comments whose name is Receding Hairline that says, "Why does the guy on the left have a hat on?" Or Holdingford would wipe everyone. Or Section 7 is better. So take your pick. Any of those are
He just
our
had a bunch of them.
Heman Tree Service free quote of the week.
Oh, you're right. I, for some reason, thought it was somebody else that responded, but that was Luke.
The buyers get honorable mention for have to find Logan during the national anthem if you want to see that Mr. Clean look.
That's right.
So there's our runners up as well for the Heman Tree Service free quote of the week. Kyle, can we stop a stream as well as we can start a stream? We are about to find out.
There's a big stop button, so I think I can do that relatively